Semen retention, my journey. I'm gonna go way back for when it started, when I first heard about the practice. It was actually off one of my friends. He mentioned to me kundalini. He said the word kundalini to me and briefly told me about a kundalini awakening. And I'd never heard of this before. I was like, what? Kundalini awakening? What's that? And when something holds a specific type of resonance and it aligns with me, it sends me in a frenzy mode. I go fully autistic and I will go deep down the rabbit hole for weeks, months, sometimes years at a time. But it's normally an intense period of weeks and months of highly intensive, like all or nothing. I'm all in on this, educating myself, watching all the videos, reading all the text scriptures. I'm hungry for the knowledge. And when I first heard about this practice, it was through Kundalini, which is obviously the Eastern philosophy of awakening. If you don't know much about Kundalini, it's basically the philosophy is you've got a dormant energy, serpent-like energy that sits dormant at the bottom of the spine, and through practicing things like semen retention, breath work, specific types of yoga, we can activate this kundalini. And what it does is the seven, I might butcher this, seven chakras that are across the seven chakras or that are aligned the kundalini. It rises to the crown chakra and aligns all the chakras and gives you a so-called spiritual awakening. So that's the philosophy behind kundalini. And through hearing about semen retention, I heard about semen retention through this, so I started researching about this intensively. And even to this day, now I'm still doing my studies and research about it for the specific reason of how impactful it has been on my life. Out of all the things I've tried, all the practices, I've done all the traditional routes like the yoga, the breath work, the meditation, which a lot of these practices I still do today, and they are really, really good and hold very much relevance. But in terms of actually noticing any changes within myself from a spiritual and mental level, and how I have, because I'm always looking to evolve from a spiritual level above all else, I never actually recognized how important that was to me until I got older. I've always been pulled in that direction. That's always been the number one priority for me, to evolve in myself, whether that's been God putting me in that direction. Well, 100% it is. I've been pulled to these sources of information divinely, I think, in order to gather these bits of information to assist me on my journey of, they call it awakening. I don't like throwing that term around because you're not actually awakening to anything. You could say you're awakening back to your truth, but you're just getting back to your core essence, your core being. And through getting back to your core, it can feel like a sort of awakening back to semen retention. So after doing intensive study and taking upon the practice, I noticed benefits almost straight away. And the benefits I not recognized the most was the level of discipline and level of sacrifice you have to take for this practice. It requires a lot of mental energy and it requires a lot of sacrifice per se. So because I was that immersed in this process and I was that engulfed on seeing the results or the transformation through this practice, I went fully all in. And that's the autistic element of myself where I like, if I'm fully, if I'm in, I'm not messing about. I'm all the way in and I'm all the way in 2 feet in until I get bored, it burns out, and then I'm on to the next thing. But with this has been one of them things that stood the test of time, and it's actually been ingrained now into my personality. And that's when I know something is genuine, something's true, and something has actually had a meaningful impact on me. Because I have a good tendency to pick things up and drop things off. I've been doing that throughout my life. I get bored very easily. If it isn't stimulating me and I'm not seeing the evolution at the rate I want to see it at, I'm quite easy to walk away. But the benefits of having that mindset is I'm more than welcome to try absolutely everything. I'll try anything under the sun if I believe it's going to benefit me. I'm all open. I'm receptive to any bits of information anyone can give me if I believe it's going to be assist my own personal growth and spiritual evolution. So going back to what I was recognizing first is because the more I was honing in on the semen retention, the more I was actually retaining, the more disciplined I had become in every facet and area of my life. Now, early on in the early stages, of course, I was still in a state of chaos. I was still living, I was a lot better than I had been previously. I was very in the midst of working on my addictions, my tendencies, my vices, and these cycles of destructive behavior. But it was still there, it was still present. So, what I recognized as well is why, with me doing semen retention, I didn't actually take into consideration the amplitude and the amplification of energy I'm going to have. So because I was unaware of that and went into it a little bit naive, I didn't know how to channel this energy correctly, because you do have overwhelming excess of energy when you save that life force. It is your chi, that seed that you're spilling to pixels on a screen and wasting it to low level women and just running away with yourself with these animalistic urges. This can be spent to build your kingdom, to create the life you want, to pour into the essence of your being and allow that essence to transmute into any direction you want to put it in. But wield this power for good, I will say, because it is a power. Wield the power for good and wield the power out of love. So going back to the excess and surge of energy that I felt, because I still had these negative tendencies and vices surrounding me, it did manifest in drink, drugs, partying, all the chaos that come up because I had this excess of energy and I didn't know how to contain it, how to ground it, how to control it. It did transmute on the occasion into these different outlets that I still had open, these voids and these channels that I still had open in my life, and it allowed them into me so I could channel into them in a form of release. But that was early stages. And once I surpassed that and started to go into the practice a little bit more, and started to get hit for, I think I did when I did the first 30 days, that's when I was really, really dialed in. I think it was January 2024. I think I've been doing it on and off for the first year, and then January 24. What are we in it? Oh no, no. Yeah, so I started it back end of 23. And it was January 24 or beginning of 2024. I remember I went through a stage and I was like fully locked in. I did end up doing like 60 days retention, 90 days drink free. I was doing cold water dips in a lake near me every single day. And I believe it was the semen retention, because I fully honed in on that. That would allowed me to fully dial in on everything else. My business started to blow up. My training started to elevate. I started to relationships started to drop off between me. I just felt a massive surge of energy. And physically, yeah, but also spiritually, it was like, whoom, I could come online. And then from there, obviously, just began to evolve and go deeper into it. And I had a couple of phases where like, oh, is it worth it? Fuck nah, why am I doing this? I just want to, I'm still young again. Like I'm 26 now, and I was like, what's it, 25? I'm like 25. I don't want to throw the partying and the sleeping around. There's loads of beautiful women I've not slept with yet. But recognizing that, hold on a minute, no. This is the devil now masquerading as the lust, or the lust masquerading as this temptation of voice leading me down to this road of me going back into this pursuit of lust. But it's masquerading, oh no, you need to, you deserve it, you're young, you should be having fun. And that's the voice, but that's not you. And that's not serving your higher purpose. That's serving the voice of the devil. I think lust is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, tools or weapons the devil utilizes to control the young males of this population, or males in general of this population. So getting a handle on that, it's going to allow you to get a handle on every single area of your life, with it being the strongest form of all human desires. Master lust, you master yourself, you master your life. So keep digressing. So after doing the first 30 days, that's when I realized I was super duper dialed in on this practice. And this is something that I wanted to keep up for a long time because of seeing the benefits per se. It did start to ingrain into my ego a little bit, and it started to become a bit of my identity. I'm the man who's retaining, I'm celibate. I started to voice that and project that, but I feel like that's healthy in a way. It's part of the process. You have to encode it into the ego first for it to then encode into the subconscious and become part of your being rather than just an identity that you're carrying. But you have to surpass that part of the identity and allow parts of it to fall apart. And what do I mean by that? The attachment to believing this is going to make you a better person or get you more respect or get you the beautiful women, which, to be honest, it does do all them things, But if your intention is there just to specifically achieve those things, your intention isn't pure. So you're going to get negative feedback from that, and you're going to be causing destruction and chaos through this practice. So be aware and discern your intention behind taking upon semen retention. A lot of men do get into this because it gives them the power over women. They use it for manipulation, because once they get hold of the lust, they're not driven by their sexual urges, allowing them then to control women in a manipulative way. That I do not do, fellas. Do not fall into that trap, because you are going to feel more powerful. You are going to feel more sovereign around women. Don't use that to leverage upon them. Use that for your own good, your own authentic energy. Stand grounded in that energy, and don't allow any toxic things to come in. Only allow the presence of love. Allow that in. Don't go cold and shut yourself off because you've got this extra power. Don't let it get to your head. So now, after going through the on and off journey of like I'm doing it and I'm not, and with these repetitive battles of fighting with the mind, I'm now at this place where I genuinely believe I have burnt out that desire. It's only took me 2 years. I mean, some people it might take the whole life. For me, I can be around a pretty beautiful women, not feel an urge or a pull to want to rip her clothes off, or just want to, don't get me wrong, I can look at when she's beautiful, but it's still only flesh. The connection, there's no internal urge to act out any behavior whatsoever. It can be acknowledgement of beauty. It's also transcending beauty on a physical level. Like when I look at a beautiful woman, I'm looking past the flesh. If I acknowledge beauty, I am seeing into her soul. That is when I can see true beauty and true essence within a woman. When I can see beyond the flesh into her soul and into her true essence of being. And you can only do that once you overcome lust. You can never look at a woman's true essence or see her in her divine being until you first overcome the animalistic and the animal urges, because all you're ever going to be doing then is seeing the flesh. She's got nice ass and nice tits. Ooh, check that ass out. Ooh, look at that thigh gap. Yeah, look at that. Look at them titties on her. And that's all you're going to be doing, sat with your boys thinking you're cool. It's not cool. You're just a slave to your desires. But now being fully feeling that I've overcome this desire, it has opened so many different doors to my life and opportunities. And I've actually now it's allowed in a beautiful woman who is in her own authentic energy, who is also doing the same practice, who is grounded, sovereign, and doesn't actually, the relationship's not codependent. It's not pursuit. It's not built upon lust anymore. My past relationships have been very lustful. I didn't know at the time because it was normal. I wasn't aware of this, but it was very attached. The attachment was very built upon the codependency aspect element and lust and sex and urges and desire. Whereas now it's like, I love this woman, but I'm also, there's not that deep emotional attachment to want and need and always craving reassurance and attachment. And I wouldn't have been able to do that and get myself in this place without first overcoming lust. So another spin I want to put at another benefit is I have no vices. I prayed for this day every single, I've been praying for this day for so long. I wish I could grasp. This has been my number one thing I've been praying upon. Not financial success, not even a beautiful woman, not a car, not a house, not relationships, like all these desires. The number one thing I wanted was to be free from my addictions and vices, because they was the bane of my life. I had outgrew all these things, but they still had a control of me. And it was like, why? No matter how hard I try, these things still pull me back. And it was always a plea for help. But now, gone. Everything. I don't have no vices anymore. I don't need it. I'm at peace within myself. I love myself. I love my life. And I do not need to add anything onto myself and my being. And that, to reach that place is, well, so just a testament of the work that I've done, and allowing myself to sit out this practice alone has allowed me to reach this destination. Is it the only thing? No, there's a lot of other things in the background, which I won't speak about on this video that I've done. On later videos, stay tuned in. I will speak about those. But for the sake of this video on the semen retention per se, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't take upon this practice. And when I say I've no vices, literally like not even caffeine. I've been able to drop that in an instant. I mean, the drink, the drugs, the partying, the lust, the wanking, the um, like toxic. I don't even know what else. What else other desires? Drink, drugs, partying, porn, caffeine, cannabis, weed. I love weed. It's a funny one. I've been able to drop it because I've seen it was having a detrimental impact on my sleep. But I didn't look at it as a vice because I found out later on, and there wasn't a dependence on it. It was used to allow me to tap into my emotional body and go deeper into my spiritual practice. So intention can be good with weed, but if it comes a vice and you're leaning on it, it's destructive. But in the grand scheme of things, you are better pure. You don't need any substance, nothing at all. You have it all already. And when you hit that level of purity and that authenticity within your being, and when I say that, my mind says like my ego shouts like, oh, like I'm being a little bit egotistical or blowing my own trumpet per se, but it's the truth. I mean, I feel it within my own being, and when you reach that state, you don't need anything else. And once again, I wouldn't have been able to be here for semen if it weren't for semen retention. So yeah, I'm going to this is a lifelong practice now, and navigating relationships about finding a partner that is going to be coincided with this practice and allows you to express yourself in a way where you can retain the seed and your life force and do that in a safe, healthy manner. But yeah, I'm going to cut it there because I don't want to go too long. We're going into 20 minutes on our 16 minutes now. I'm going to be doing more in-depth talks on this, so I don't want to give it all at once. I've got so many different things and practices and just things in general I want to speak about in terms of my journey on semen retention. So I will be posting more about this. If you want to know more, or you want to start your journey today on semen retention, I have created a free ebook which you can download. It's going to be in the link in the bio, link in the description. It's also going to be in the link in my bio as well. You can download that completely for free. It's got everything you need in there, the practices, bodily practices, like the science behind how it benefits you, the physical benefits, spiritual benefits. There's everything in there. So download that for free, and that'll give you a good little starting point and a reference. If you have any questions, comment below and message me personally. All right, stay strong, stay sovereign, stay locked in, people. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.